probably already heard or seen stories on the news or seen our newsletter, emails. Paul McIntyre, KC5JAX, passed away Friday last week. He was killed in a stabbing incident. He was doing some intern work at the Wellness and Recovery Centre in Carmichael. He was working towards becoming a social worker there. I've been a club president for the last couple of years. He's also been on the board for many years before that. He was also our net control coordinator. Participated in many club events over the years. On Tuesday last week, I was given a ride home from our monthly board meeting, and he was happy and excited. He was telling me that as a club we were going to get an audio board to go in our HF radio, the club HF radio, and the plan was that he wanted to run this field day this year to give other blind operators the opportunity to get on the HF and work field day. So if there's one thing we can do this year, we should at least make sure we get that radio up and running for him this year. I know you have known Paul for many years, so I think it'd be good if we took some time and maybe if anyone wanted to share any stories or thoughts or...
Well, I'll start.
Yeah.
I had the pleasure of also driving Paul home and heard all sorts of stories of his life before blindness and after. The thing that impressed me the most was how capable he was. We would have field day in Rio Linda and Derry B. We'd have board meetings near Sunrise Mall and Derry B. Had field day out at the VFW site and Derry B. No one giving him a ride, no one doing anything for him. He was very independent and did it on his own. He gave a presentation here on using a programming a radio that many of us could not program, and here he was, a blind guy, telling all of us how to program handhelds. So, I'm just real happy to have known him, and he was doing what he wanted to do when he was killed, and he can take refuge in the fact that he was helping others.
As a matter of fact, the last field day, he won the fox hunt. Of course, I walked around because I didn't want him to run into anything, but it was his radio and his persistence that got him to where the fox was, and the last 2 seconds was somebody with eyes actually being able to say, "Aha, I see what you found." And so being blind didn't slow him down that much, for which I truly admire.
For those of you who don't know me, I'm Milazzo, KC5JAX. Been a member of this club now for 14 years, and I'm also right now the section manager for ARRL Sacramento Valley. And I've known Paul since he joined this club, and I also on a few occasions have given him a ride home from meetings, from board meetings as well. And I had a nice long drive with him once when he accompanied me to the ARRL Pacific Division Leadership Summit, which was over at Livermore, and had a great opportunity to share with him. He gave that presentation about programming his handheld radio in front of all of the section managers and the division director for Pacific Division. There's a video of that that's posted online if anybody would like to look at it and see how competent he was in his presentations and how loving and giving he was. I have to say that, first of all, he was a man of faith. He was a man of his family. He was always there for his wife and for his son Hunter. He brought with him to all the different activities here at the club. Hunter grew up coming to our field days and camping out at the field days and coming to our Christmas parties and our picnics. We saw him grow up. And he was a man who went the extra mile to help give a helping hand to other people who were interested in learning about amateur radio. He was very passionate about amateur radio, and he shared everything he learned with everyone else that he could. And he wanted to go beyond that. So he went back to school in his 50s to the American River College to study social work, because he wanted to help the underprivileged people with illnesses like mental illness, addictions, and recovery. And part of that training in social work was doing his internship in this Wellness and Recovery Center. And he was volunteering there. He was working there as a volunteer. And, of course, we know that the person who took his life was one of the people he was trying to help. He was a client of the center. So this is the most noble thing I think anybody could do, was to give their life trying to help others. And I will remember that always in my heart. He was also well known in the blindness community. I had a nice long talk with Barbara, his wife, today, and also yesterday. He's well known beyond amateur radio in the blindness community, and also in this other group that's called the men's group, which is the group that encouraged him to go back to school. And he's a member of the Good Shepherd Independent Catholic Church, and that's where they're going to have the memorial service later on this month. The actual date and time has not been decided yet, but we will let you all know, so you will be able to participate in that as well. The board of directors did send some flowers to Barbara, and she expressed her appreciation to the club for that thoughtfulness. Very beautiful flowers, she said. She gives her regrets for not being here tonight. She had an appointment with a counselor, and she felt it was necessary for her to take care of her own health, and that was a priority right now in her time of recovery. She's going to be trying to go back to work. She thinks that might be therapeutic for her, so she'll let us know how that works out for her. She'll be able to do that. Today was the first day that Paul's son Hunter went back to school, and he was wearing Paul's shirt to give him strength. And we'll see if that would work out. They were just testing this out today. I don't know what else to say, but Paul's spirit will live on in us. And for those of you who think that amateur radio is just a toy hobby, a way to goof off and have a good time, yeah, we do have a good time here. But a lot of people put their soul into this. And Paul had a lot of soul in this club and in amateur radio, and it's going to live on. Thank you.
Carol, funeral arrangement, etc. will be private to the family.
The funeral is going to be at the Good Shepherd Independent Catholic Church, and the date and the time will be sent out to the club members. We'll send out an email for that. And also, there's a GoFundMe site if people would want to donate online. There's a link on our webpage, and if you feel you would rather just give a donation here, we will take a free will offering to benefit the family. As far as the family's financial situation, I can explain. We have some really good news that the state of California has a victim compensation fund that's going to take care and arrange everything for the funeral expenses. So everything that's taken up by the GoFundMe and any other collection is going to go to help the families in their situations, because I'm sure they're going through a difficult financial situation now with the loss of Paul. So all of that would be very much appreciated. Thank you.
Anyone else have any thoughts?
I just want to mention that as somebody who works at the Carmichael Presbyterian Church, we have a program at our church that I run called the Healing Meals Program. And this is a program that allows the church members to deliver food to the family of ill people or people that are otherwise unable to cook for themselves. And as you know, when you're grieving, it's enough to deal with that and not have to worry about making yourself dinner and feeding the family. So I would propose that if the club is interested, there's an online program that you can use called Meal Train, and it's simply spelled mealtrain.com. And what that allows you to do is contact Barbara, ask her if she has any food allergies. First, of course, see if she's interested in this opportunity for you guys to show your love and appreciation to Paul by bringing meals over to her and Hunter. And what you can do is, once you know if there's any food allergies or any other likes that she may have for meals, you can simply go online and sign up for a day. And usually what we do is we have it where the person will receive between 2 and 3 meals a week, generally a dinner meal, but enough food that they can maybe use some leftovers for lunch the next day. And then they would specify a time when you guys can bring the meals over. And the online meal train program just allows you to put your name in there. It's a calendar, basically, but the calendar lets you specifically say what meal you're going to deliver so that everybody's not bringing the same thing. So it's like an online potluck, but for individual days on a calendar basis. So I think that would be something really, really nice for the family and take a little bit of that burden off of Barbara while she's grieving for Paul. So if that's something the club is interested in, again, it's mealtrain.com. You can simply post that. And if you do that, as the president of W6SFM, the Carmichael Club, we will, of course, post the GoFundMe campaign on our website. And if you do decide to do the meal train, of course, we'll put a link that will allow you to sign up on our site as well through the meal train program. So that's just my thought, that something that we can ease the burden and a little bit of the pain and having to worry about that in this time. So, and if you need any more information, just let me know after. Thank you.
Anyone else have anything to share?